I love the idea of working with founders. It just to this day is my favorite thing.
Yeah. Why?
So many reasons. I think about some of my favorite founders, and they're creative, and they are optimistic about risk and saying we can do it, right? And myself being in finance, I'm very like calculated, and it's like what could go wrong, and let's prepare for this, that, and the other, plan A, B, C. But a lot of founders are like, yeah, we can plan for A, B, and C, but like, let's go for it, and I just love that energy.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to It Takes a Village. I am with Alisa, and she is one of the most well-known investors that you need to know.
Sweet.
And she was spotlighted in WWD's article. They have an article called The List of Most Powerful Financiers. It came out in September of 2024. And we're going to get into that and also talk to her about like, what is venture capital? What is private equity? Do you need to have that in order to like grow your business for real? Or can you just do it without? There's a lot that I have learned just from talking to her privately, and I really think that she is so knowledgeable, but also really knows how to explain everything to us. So I'm excited to have her here.
I will try my best. Keep it real. Make it plain.
Make it plain. You do it so well. That's why I'm so happy to have you here.
I think information is power, like knowledge is power, and sometimes I think people are intentionally confusing because it's
why is that?
I think you just keep people out that way. So I'm always like,
it's true.
Let's make sure you understand exactly what the terminology is or why it's important. And I love like explaining and
breaking it down.
I
love that. Okay, when you said that, I did think about the fact that you went to Yale. Is there a lot of that there? Like, do people try to make things difficult?
I think the outside world sometimes, puts this image, and there definitely is some of that, right?
Okay.
That just because you go to this school, you're so smart and, you know everything and you have all of these accomplishments, and some of that may be true, but a lot of it is
it's not.
Like very regular people who are
just
figuring it out
and
going to school. That's how I felt, at least, and that's who I surrounded myself with.
What about your peers? Did you feel like when you were there, were you like intimidated? Because this was a big deal for you to go to school there, right?
Yeah, I mean,
first in your family to go to Yale.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, like, what was it like?
I think that I grew up being very hardworking. Like, my parents really leaned into hard work and trying really hard to accomplish things.
Yeah.
And my dad has this saying that he used to say it all the time when we were little, like, what's the word? And we'd have to say excellence. And he'd say, why? Because you're capable. And so this, not the pursuit of perfection, but like, if you can be excellent in something, do that. So I definitely had that, and I've carried that with me for a long time around just really trying your best. And that means working hard and not being afraid of hard work.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that's taught when you're young.
I agree.
My parents were not excuse people. Like, it just was not the case.
Yeah.
And I think it came from, their upbringing. Like, my dad was the youngest of 12 kids. They didn't come from incredible means. And so he was like, work really hard and, make sure that you can build the life for yourself that you want. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're right. I think that's like a nurture thing. As you grow up, it's like you're being told, like, this is kind of like what we do as a family. Yeah. This is how we show up. And then I think it also is like you watch your family do it too. You watch it's not just them saying it, it's them doing it and you seeing it, and then it clicks.
I think about this all the time now because I have 2 little kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how do we make sure that we instill hard work in them, even though myself and my partner have achieved different things? Like, how do we make sure that that doesn't escape them or get away from them?
Yeah.
And it's teaching, right? It's like, no, try again. Like, you can do it. You did it once, do it again. But also having the softness too, right? One more time or 3 more times. Like, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But then also having like that nurturing and soft side to you too. Right?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of people in my generation, I'm definitely like solidly a millennial who feel like they had a lot of pressures and not enough of the soft side of things.
Yeah.
So
That's beautiful. Okay, so I know you went into investment banking, but I want to back up. Is there a part of you that was like always interested in beauty? Because I feel like that's kind of like you're in that area.
No, I mean, no.
Okay.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
I studied political science in school.
Okay,
Like,
my sister did too.
I
Yeah.
thought I was going to go into some sort of political field. And,
For sure.
And quickly realize after one internship, whoa, like, it's not for me. Not for me.
Yeah.
And then it was like, ugh, I don't really know what I want to do. Like, I think that if you were to ask 18 or 19-year-old me, I would have been like, I have no idea. Probably something in business, but like, what does that even mean? Right? And entered investment banking thinking about a skill set because I was at a liberal arts school, which Yale is, and didn't necessarily feel like I had like something tangible. I was like, oh, I know how to do this thing.
Yeah.
So I felt like banking would teach me that. You're learning how to use Excel, financial model, like, this is going to be good.
So you just picking a major. You were like, this feels right. But
I was like, this feels right. I'll get come out of like banking with knowing how to model. And if you understand financial modeling, like that can be applied to a lot of things. And that was as simple as it was. I think especially early in your career and even before career, when you're in your early 20s or late teens, like you have no idea how much is out there and the different things that people do from a career perspective. And so I also didn't know or think, oh, I'm definitely going to end up in this space. I'm glad I did because I get to combine a lot of passions and skill set.
So you went into investment banking, but that was like you were there and then you were like, okay, I'm out. So
Oh,
that too was like, no. Why?
That was a no.
Yeah, okay, but why?
So I did that for about 2.5 years or so. It has a cutthroat dynamic to it. It's a very competitive space and, you kind of got to have this like certain hunger about you.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not cutthroat.
Yeah.
Like I am competitive.
Yeah.
I want to win. But I very much am, let's all do it together. Kind of more of the like warm and fuzzy, like, let's collaborate. Like, how can we work together to win? And
totally.
It's not zero sum in my mind.
Yeah.
And so that was
that was
I knew that wasn't for me. But again, I think that really taught me how to deal with different people.
Yeah.
And also the long hours. Like, I don't mind working hard and long to get something done. And that can be really valuable, especially when you think about working with startups or early stage businesses. Like, it can be all encompassing. And so I'm like, if we got to stay up till midnight working on something, we can stay up till midnight. Like, it's no big deal.
So it wasn't necessarily like the hours. It was more like the culture vibe. Like, you were just like, I can't do this.
Culture.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't do it.
So you said 2.5 years?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I got to go do something
Well, then
else.
I was like, oh, finance, not for me.
Yeah.
Like, culture, not for me.
Yeah. Were you worried at that point? Were you like, wait, I studied all this stuff at school. Like, where am I going to go next?
I mean, definitely moments of like, okay, I don't know where I'm going to go next.
Right.
But knowing
That's
that,
amazing.
hey, I work hard.
Yeah.
I've gotten this skill
You're
set.
like, I'm good.
I will figure it out.
So you went to VMG Partners and they reached out to you, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
it
so
was
how'd they
via
find you?
a headhunter.
Okay.
So again, this finance world is often very small and insular, and so a headhunter reached out, and I was like, ugh, I guess, like I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I loved the people.
Okay.
And most importantly, I love the idea of working with founders. It just to this day is my favorite thing.
Yeah. Why?
So many reasons. I think about some of my favorite founders, and they're creative, and they are optimistic about risk and saying we can do it, right? And myself being in finance, I'm very like calculated, and it's like what could go wrong, and let's prepare for this, that, and the other, plan A, B, C. But a lot of founders are like, yeah, we can plan for A, B, and C, but like, let's go for it, and I just love that energy.
Yeah.
And being able to think about my skill set and some of that, like, let's prep, let's analyze, and combining that with people who are vision oriented and have an idea and an instinct and go for it, I just think often is a really beautiful partnership.
Yeah.
I think the best partnerships in general are often from people with different perspectives. And so a lot of the energy I get from founders is so different than how I approach life or think about life. And so it brings me a lot of joy to be like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Like, let's go for it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But also, here's the plan as we go for it, So
Yeah.
that's just been, I think that's, I've been at VMG for 10 years. That's why the founders I get to work with are amazing people who have incredible ideas, and we're willing to go for it, because being a founder is really, really hard, and it's definitely glamorized now with social media, and there's a lot of people who look at it aspirationally but don't see how challenging it is, and I get to see that too.
I love the bravery too. It's so great, isn't it? It's just like, you're just like, wow, you really believed in yourself. And like, also the sense of certainty. There's a certainty, I think, about a really successful founder where it's like, I know this thing is going to work. And it's like, it could be something that's never been done before. And it's very like, I don't know, charting new waters type energy. It's really cool. I agree.
For sure.
I love it.
For sure. And the idea, again, going back to like collaboration, being able to support people who have that like view of, this is what's going to happen and this is how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to change this space with this thing that is disruptive. I love it. I love it so much.
So 10 years is a really substantial amount of time.
It's so long.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially in this world and how fast everything is moving. It's like you've seen, like in a decade, you've seen so much change.
For sure.
What role did you come in at, and where are you at? Because now you're a partner.
I was an associate.
Okay.
So I was at the bottom. At the bottom.
Shooting in the gym.
Yeah. But I was able to work my way up. And I think, I think the thing that I look back on, like when I reflect, is there's not that many people who look like me as a woman, as a mom, as a Black woman in the space. And so when I reflect, I'm like, okay, hopefully this creates a similar path for someone else to do this too.
Yeah.
And do it in a way that is authentic to who they are. Like, I very much try and live in the truth of who I am. Yeah. Whether I'm at home changing diapers or like in a really important meeting. And being at a place that allowed me to do that, I think has been really important. Like, the organization that I'm at has allowed me to grow as a person and also show up authentically. So I think as people look for opportunities and jobs and think about career, I think that long term is really important.
Yeah, me too. And I agree with you, because I think as I was researching, I realized that there really aren't any like Black women that do what you do.
We all know each other.
You're kind of like it's like a very small.
There's a couple of us.
Yeah.
And we know each other. Like we know, we generally.
It's very few.
Know each other. Yeah. It's very few.
Why do you think that is? Like, is it an access thing? Like, what is it that's happening? Because like, there's so much conversation around like investing in Black businesses. And then if you don't have the people that are, and you and I have talked about this before, but it's like, if you don't have that business on your timeline, right? Like my timeline is very me. You know what I mean? Like it's talking to a Black woman, And so it's like, if you are an investor or you're a partner at a big, private equity firm and you don't see that, it's not even on your radar, is my thought. Like, what do you think is, like, where's disconnect there? Like, what do we need to do differently?
Yeah, I think depending on the stage of investment, there's often a typical background that people have, right? So you have to understand finance, you have to understand analysis and how to look at data and information. And if you don't get those things early in your career, it's not an easy space to break into because it's quite competitive, and there are people who do have those experiences, and it's a small ecosystem. I think what's been really beautiful is when you think about different elements of investing, the VC space is often a little bit different, and the profile of the investor can look really different. And there's a lot of people who enter the VC space who were operators or founders themselves. And so that's created, I think, a little bit of a broader access point for people to kind of enter the investing space versus the traditional private equity or growth equity space, which I think has been just more of a traditional path in terms of investment banking or consulting or some sort of analytical role transitioning into the investor role.
Okay. Can you explain the different stages? You were talking about like different stages. I think it's like because I think people think about investment as like a one bucket versus like not necessarily understanding the different stages. Yeah.
I think that it's a gradient.
Yeah.
And it all runs into each other.
Yeah.
But in the consumer side, when you think about VC, it's typically earlier stage. The businesses are smaller. The checks might be smaller. And you're often taking more risk, right? Because you're investing earlier in. And so risk and reward, if you're investing earlier and you're taking on more risk, you're hoping for outsized returns or outsized performance on a couple of the investments. And so a lot of venture investors think about some businesses working and some won't, right? And that's the name of the game, and that's kind of is what it is.
Okay. When you say smaller checks, are you thinking like, is there like a range?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it depends on the business.
It totally depends on the business.
Okay.
But think about earlier in the business's life cycle. So it's probably
so
still
from before you even have a concept for the product kind of
potentially.
Early,
so that might be a
VC
seed investor.
Okay.
But you may still have questions on distribution. You may still have questions on your product roadmap. Maybe you have a stellar product that's crushing it, but you're not sure, where you're going to go from here or there. Maybe you're selling on a website. You haven't quite figured out if you're going to sell in a retailer or, kind of stay direct to consumer. There's a lot of considerations that maybe not fully baked.
Okay.
And so that's a general view. The next stage is this middle that's kind of called growth equity, as a term that people often say, which is basically when the business has proof of concept, like it's working, and you're growing.
Okay.
And you need fuel on the fire. You need investment to keep you going, take you to the next level.
Okay.
Maybe you're ready to hire a bigger, more robust team.
Okay.
But there's acceleration and you're growing, and this is I call it like the fuel, right?
Okay.
Just pouring a little bit more gas. And then the final stage generally is like private equity or bigger investment firms, and the strategy may totally depend.
Okay.
So it could be a company that's still growing but has gotten to a big profitable size, and they're going to explore different markets or different opportunities. It could also be a company that isn't growing, but is big and profitable, and they're going to cut costs and kind of shape things differently to try and fuel kind of that next leg of the journey for the business. And so those are kind of the three buckets, but they meld together.
Okay.
It
depends.
It's not super distinct.
Okay.
And so when people talk about investment, I'm often like, find relationship and strategy, right? Like, what is their investment strategy? Do they know and have experience in the space? How are you going to partner together?
Okay.
That is more important than saying, oh, you're this stage or that stage, because people have different strategies in their funds.
Okay. And with VMG, which do you focus on a specific stage, or are you doing all three of those?
Yeah, so with VMG, we have a consumer fund and a technology fund.
Okay.
And our consumer fund, which is where I sit, is really focused on building iconic consumer brands.
Okay.
And partnering with founders and entrepreneurs to do so. I think for us, we're often considered like in that growth equity stage where you're saying, hey, you're growing, you're doing great. Let's give you extra
fuel on the fire.
extra fuel, fuel in the fire.
Okay, cool.
To kind of take you to that next point and hopefully achieve an exit.
Yeah.
But we also have a strategy called Parity Collective, which is focused on investing in early stage founders of color that is earlier.
Okay.
And smaller checks earlier in the life cycle.
Yeah.
But same strategy of partnering with founders and entrepreneurs to grow and scale their business. And that's generally like what excites me every day. Is how do you add that fuel to take your business to the next level?
So when you started Parity, because you started that with Aurora, yeah? Aurora
yes,
James?
Aurora, my lovely partner in crime.
Yeah,
and
Parity. She is the founder of 15% Pledge, which is essentially this organization that helps put is it BIPOC or is it only Black?
It's Black-owned brands. So they work with retailers to get more shelf space for Black-owned brands. And, I think really if you look at the statistics around funding underrepresented founders, it's abysmal. And I think I have a belief that a good idea can come from anywhere.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't require a certain background. It doesn't require a certain experience. In fact, a lot of the founders that I've worked with didn't have experience in what they created, but they were like, this needs to exist and be in the world.
Yeah.
And so that has a special place in my heart, is kind of nurturing people who just come up with a good idea. And this needs to exist. And so Parity was kind of birthed out of some of that and just saying, hey, there are a lot of founders from all different corners of life, and let's make sure we're funding, the best businesses that are coming from those corners. Yeah. And so that's...
And Danessa was part of Parity, right? Danessa Myricks. Yeah, I saw that in 2022. She started. Was she one of the first that
she was
came
one
over?
Of our early Parity investments? Yeah. She's been an absolute joy to work with, and the perfect example of someone who was building something incredible and still is building something incredible that was getting traction, and being able to say, hey, let's partner together. Let's help make sure that you're equipped with all the resources you need to be successful and build out your team successfully and continue your journey with Sephora successfully. And so that's ultimately what we've done together. And I think that when you have the right investor, they in many ways can feel like they're an extension of your team in some way, where you feel like you can pick up the phone and say, okay, I have this really tough question. I don't know what to do. What do you think? How should I think about this? Who are the other people I should ask? What resources do I need? And that's what we try and do with people like Danessa at Danessa Myricks and Ron Robinson at BeautyStat and, a host of others.
That's cool. Yeah. Danessa is amazing. She's been on the show as well. She's so special and just such a good person. And I remember when I was in New York, she was filling product in her house in Long Island. And she's been doing this for such a long time.
She's been doing it for such a long time.
Such a long time. All the trade shows she's done. And trade shows are not easy.
No.
I mean, people launching now online, it's nothing on trade shows.
No.
Bringing all of your stuff. You got the signage. You got to get in the truck. You got to put the product in it. You got to make sure you have enough for everybody who gets there.
Then you got to be on.
Then you got to be on. And she's so present. There's a line to hug her.
I know, and she
at every
will
show,
hug
everybody,
single individual,
and she's there, she's locked in with you.
It's interesting when you interact with people who've done it for a long time, and she has.
Yeah.
When it finally starts to work, there's such a gratitude. I think she has such a gratitude mindset around, just the support that the brand has gotten, and knowing how much she's poured into it, and knowing that it's the consumers buying it that ultimately keeps the brand going.
Yeah. I think of one more thing about Danessa, because I think she's just so amazing. I feel like she's like the Beyonce of beauty. You know how when you go to a Beyonce concert,
she would be
right and
shrieking,
right? It's like the Beyonce effect. You know how? Have you been to a Beyonce concert?
I have.
Okay, when she's like, "Thank you, everybody, for being here," and you feel like she's talking to you. The whole arena is like, oh my God, you're welcome, girl. You know what I mean? That's literally how it feels. She has that same
100%.
energy, and I just think that that's so special.
It's
I'm so happy you're partnered with her.
I know. It is special.
Yeah.
And to be able to keep it too.
Yeah, right?
Because
Yeah.
you sometimes run into founders where they kind of make it
Yeah.
and then it switches up on you and you're like, wait,
You're like, wait a minute.
remember you used to be doing this out your car. Like,
No.
do you remember that? Is that in you still anywhere? Or are we just, too cool for school?
I know. Yeah. Is there something that you look for in a founder when they're pitching you? Like, is there something that
so
you
many
need?
things.
Yeah. What is that?
And it's not, there's no one size fits all. I think that you want to have people who truly understand the why of what they're building, the point of difference, and understand ultimately like the space that they're in. So let's talk about beauty for a second. Beauty is very crowded. Very crowded. It is hard to keep the attention of the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff out there. There's new stuff every day. If you're a beauty founder and you're coming and saying, hey, I'm launching this hair care business and I'm really excited about it, I'm going to say why, right? That's like, tell me why.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to know why you're doing it, why it's different, why consumers are going to leave whatever they're doing today to come to you, and how you're going to succeed and feel really secure that you have a very good understanding of the market and what exists and how you're going to address it. If it feels like, hey, I just, I really like hair care and like, I think I have like a good product. That's not going to be enough because it's so much out there already.
Right.
The second thing is trying to suss out self-awareness.
Okay. Okay.
Because partnering is long and hard, and there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. And you as an individual cannot do it alone. So figuring out what your skill sets are, what you're good at, and how you can build around yourself is really important. If it starts and stops with you alone and you know more than everyone else, that's not my ideal partner.
What does that sound like when they're talking to you? If they sound like they kind of know more than everybody else?
A lot of I.
Okay. Not a lot of we.
Not a lot of we.
Okay.
I listen for we. Because especially if you already have started to build a team, right? Again, the work that other people are doing is important. And obviously there is an I and being the founder and it's your baby and you're working really hard, but you can kind of hear when people have a sense of like, we're working to build this thing and we believe that we can accomplish it. And, here's all the amazing things that we're doing. It's very different than I have a great idea. I'm going to go do this. I've done this. It's a different tone. And if you think about businesses that have achieved kind of exit and the team is everything.
Totally.
It's everything. It's not just, you can't do it alone. It becomes really hard if it's just you.
Yeah. Okay, so you care about their self-awareness. You care about their ability to be able to explain. Is there anything else that you feel is they have to have?
Yeah, I think then it comes down to the business plan. What are we doing? How are we getting there? And if that is not clear, then it's hard to partner and say, hey, I'm going to invest in this.
Yeah.
So if you're an early stage business,
yeah,
having a clear view of what you're trying to build and then testing and learning to ensure you have product market fit is really important as you think about bringing on investors.
Okay.
Because ultimately, you want to make sure that there are people who actually want what you're selling.
Right.
Which
It's
sounds
a great idea, but we just want to make sure it actually moves.
I want to make sure it moves.
Yeah.
And you can get that momentum without this master plan of we're going to go launch all these retailers and we're going to go explode into all these markets. Repeat purchase is a really good indicator of, hey, is this working?
Yeah.
I'm selling a moisturizer. Well, when they run out, are they coming back? Like, are people excited about it? Are they telling their friends? Usually the most disruptive brands have a group of people that I think of as like evangelical, right?
Okay.
Where they are screaming from the rooftops how much they love the brand or the product. And you want that almost cult-like following of people who love you. Even if it's small, it gives you a really good sense of, hey, this is actually providing something for people that is disruptive and that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you start to think about, okay, what are the next steps? I've launched this. It's online. It's doing pretty well. What are the retailers that I should sell this into?
Mm-hmm.
What does make sense? Should this be in Walmart? Should it be in CVS? Should it be in Sephora? Should it be in Ulta? Like, those are all very different. And where do you see your consumer wanting to shop for your product is really important, and kind of building out that plan. And again, even if you're not there yet,
Mm-hmm.
when I talk to founders and they're like, hey, this is definitely a brand that will thrive in XYZ environment because I know the landscape and I know that this retailer needs this product.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that if we build out this product suite in this way, we will be the destination for, you know, curly hair girls who are looking for a product at Target or Ulta or whatever. Like that level of a sense of direction is kind of what you're looking for. The tactical of exactly how you're going to get there, you may not know, right? Unless you've done it before. And many of our founders haven't. And there's some testing, you know, some like learning on the job there.
Yeah.
But the vision of where this is going is really important.
What's the benefit of going exclusive with a retailer? Is that good or bad?
Oh my goodness. I mean, we could have someone like debating me on this. That can be the next episode
Right?
debate. So I can tell you both sides of it.
Okay.
Because there's no right or wrong answer. I think a lot of retailers prefer an exclusive relationship, obviously, because it drives traffic to their store. So you have this great product, everyone wants it. They know that you're going to come into, you know, kind of the Walmart doors and come get it. And that's really beneficial for them, especially as retail and the landscape is changing. All of the retailers are looking for foot traffic and looking for people to walk in the door. So exclusive relationships help with that. And depending on the retailer, as a result of doing that, you might get additional support. So when you think about a retailer posting on their social media page or putting you in a campaign in the front of their store, or, you know, giving you great placement in the store, those things typically can be tied to whether you're exclusive or not, because they're going to want to support the brands that are exclusive to where they are. The downside is if it doesn't work, you're stuck with that one retailer. And so you don't know if that's going to work until you launch and you're there. But sometimes if brands go non-exclusively, they actually don't get the outside support, and then it becomes more expensive because you're having to kind of build the brand awareness and drive that traffic all on your own, rather than partnering with a retailer on it.
Got it.
I think there's a lot of benefit to going exclusive initially, so particularly as you think about a channel early on. And then over time, you can build out exclusive launches without being exclusive to the retailer.
I see. Okay, exclusive launches to that retailer,
Yes,
but not
so you may say,
necessarily-
I'm launching this sunscreen.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an exclusive retailer A for 6 months before it goes anywhere else, even though I'm selling all my other products in
Got
other
it.
places.
Do you feel that most brands will do really well with a strong D2C strategy before they even get into retail? Or is this also dependent on the company?
Yeah, I think that a lot of founders choose to launch D2C because you control your own destiny, right? The biggest issue, one of the biggest issues with retailers can be that you are placing purchase orders, or retail, like purchase orders are being placed. And so you have to provide the inventory, but you're not being paid for some period after that, right? And so that can be really hard, and from what's called a working capital perspective of dollars in and dollars out. And when you're online, it's much more of an immediate transaction, and so it gives you a lot more control.
Yeah.
You also have to, when you're with a retailer, provide a lot of that inventory up front. So you have less control over managing your inventory, and you have to kind of rely on forecasts and work together on the forecast. Again, direct to consumer, if you have 100 SKUs or products, you know that you have 100 that you can sell through. And once that's done, you put a little out of stock or, sold out sign up. So I think early on it can be really beneficial to test and learn and ensure that you have the right level of product market fit.
Yeah.
But I always say from a consumer perspective, you got to go where the consumer is. Like, where does the consumer want to shop for your product? And that's where you should be.
I mean, honestly, that comes up a lot for me too, because I'm just like, especially now where people are, there's different stuff going on in different retail stores, and it's like, let's not go here, let's not shop here. But it's like, I think about me and my life, and I have such a privileged life in a sense of like, I'm single. I don't have you know what I mean? My business is something that I do, but it's like, obviously takes up a lot of my time. But what about the mom who lives in Wisconsin with like 3 kids and a husband, and she's like, dude, I'm just trying to go to Walmart to get my stuff. And so it's like, you kind of have to, in my mind, it's like you have to really know who your customer is, because at the end of the day, like, even if someone loves you down, I'm here for you, they're not gonna, no one's thinking that far ahead. You're thinking about, what do I need to do today? Most people aren't even thinking about this week.
Totally.
So I don't know. I feel, I do. Yeah, I definitely.
Meet them where they are.
You gotta, right?
Totally. I mean, you think about, people talk about the age of D2C a couple years ago, where like everyone was like, I'm D2C only, I'm D2C only.
Yeah.
Think about how many instances people have to go and shop for individual things, track individual things, versus I'm popping into this store and getting all of these things, or I'm going online to this marketplace and getting all of these things. There's a consumer behavior piece of it that you're not going to change unless you have something really unique on your website. And so as people launch in retail, I often say, how can you think about your reason to exist from a website perspective? Because it's going to be really hard to convince someone to come to your website unless there's some reason that cannot be addressed via a retailer.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. And nobody's using just one brand anymore. That's not happening. When we talk about exit, because that's the goal, I think, for most founders, right? If you're getting investment money, the goal is eventually to exit, right?
Yeah, I say this all the time. If you were bringing on investors, they don't want to be your lifelong partner. They don't want to be married forever.
Got it.
Like they don't want to be.
They want to be your first husband.
They want to be here for a little bit and then get out. And so that's a really important question to ask investors is, how do you think about time horizon? Like, what's important to you? Because that's different for everyone.
Yeah.
Some investors may say, hey, I'm totally down to be your partner for 10 years. Like that may be fine for them. They may have a different strategy. Some people may say it's 3 to 5 years and I'm going to be looking for the door, right? But most investors are looking for a liquidity event at some point.
Yeah.
And so if you're not sure, if you want to pass this down to your kids, think about that before bringing on investment, because there are other avenues of exploring capital and that fuel.
What are the other avenues? I'm sure there's a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think there's obviously lenders and kind of the debt avenue.
Okay.
There are different sort of grant programs, different sort of factoring arrangements. There's, you just have to take a different approach, and it may be slower and steadier, right? You may just take a longer time to accelerate because you're not getting some big influx of cash. You're just getting kind of what you need to continue to grow. And that may be okay, right? I think, it really is around your own personal goals and desires, because exit is very hard. Most businesses will not exit. And so you have to be really prepared for the ups and downs of growing a fast-growing brand and the implications of that.
So what are the other options if you're not exiting? What other things could happen?
I mean, you're just building.
Right. Okay. You're just indefinitely.
You're just building.
Okay.
You're building indefinitely. I think exits mean a lot of different things. So there's strategic exits where you are selling to a strategic acquirer, a Unilever, an Estee Lauder, a L'Oreal, the list goes on, of people who have built out platforms of brands that, kind of exist in this conglomerate.
Mm-hmm.
Few and far between, right? There's you hear about the exits every year, but if you think about how many brands there are, there's not that many of them. There is the idea of an IPO or the public markets, which is, again, few and far between. Really hard, not even really a formal exit, right? Because you're just switching shareholders in a lot of senses, and now, have this group of shareholders who have a lot of expectations on the business.
Mm-hmm.
There are exits to what are called sponsors or private equity firms where, you partnered with a VMG and now you exit and you're partnering with a different fund who is going to accelerate the brand farther and look at other opportunities for the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just build it and hold on to it. And if it's doing really well, it may be cash flowing really well. So there's a profit that you can use to, kind of build your life and be happy doing that,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's cool.
There
are options.
There's options.
Yeah.
There's options.
Yeah. That's interesting. So if there's somebody who comes to you and they're like, oh, I really want to, I want to partner with you. But then you talk to them and you're like, based on what I've heard, it sounds like actually you'd be in a better situation to build this yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what stuff are you hearing from them where you're like, you probably should? Is it more of like that, I want to pass this on to my kids? Then you're like, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, that's
the definite.
That's a definite sign.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I don't know if I want to exit. I don't know where I see this going.
Mm-hmm.
Creates a level of like, okay, well,
interesting. Yeah.
Maybe
right.
not. And for me, I want you to end up in the place that makes sense for you.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're not sure you want a partner, or you're not sure that you see this kind of exiting in some way or another, then for me, I'm going to have a lot of conversations on, okay, what are your goals? Like, where do you see this going? What excites you? Right. Because I think a lot of times there's a fatigue that comes with building a really fast growing business.
Absolutely.
To where founders say, hey, I'm actually ready for this. I'm ready for my baby to graduate and go into their next phase of life.
Yeah.
And I want to explore different things.
Yeah.
And so that's another piece of it that often impacts the path to exit is kind of founders saying, okay, like,
I'm ready.
I've done a lot and I'm really happy with what I've done, but I think someone else can take this thing to the next level.
Yeah. I know you've mentioned relationship is important.
So important.
Like, if someone's interested in working with you, like, should they start having that conversation with you as early as possible?
Yes. I think when you're building a brand and you're like, okay, you know what? I think I want to bring on an investor at some point in the future. I tell people to do a little bit of a market map. Who are the investors in the space that are investing this amount? We got AI now. So it's easy to, it used to be that you had to like know who figure out who and all these. It's easy now to kind of pull that market map together and say, who are the investors who invest in my category at this stage, and kind of get a little bit of a list. And then I think it's really important. I say this all the time. You got to build the relationships before you need them. Yeah. I think it's really hard when you're like, I need capital tomorrow, and let me go talk to the investors about that capital. One, I think desperation creates bad decisions. So you end up maybe not understanding exactly what you're signing up for because you're just like, I need the money, right? Or you pick a partner that doesn't make sense because, again, you're like, we just have to get this done. And I think that can be really detrimental down the line because you can't decide that you don't. It's not a contract in the sense that you can say, I don't want this anymore, right? The investor is owning a piece of your company. They're part of the company. It's not like, terminate that. And so you're kind of stuck for a period of time. And so I say build relationships, throw challenges at people, right? Like, yes, there is often formal pitch processes, but in informal conversations and as you get to know people, you can talk about your business and say, hey, I'm thinking about this or that. What have you seen from brands that are thinking about these things? So using some of the time to get value-added information out of the conversation can be really helpful as well.
Yeah. Okay, we have like a question that we ask on the show which is like who, it's called It Takes a Village.
Yeah.
And so it's really about like who helped you, and I wanted you to share someone who's helped you personally and professionally in your life.
Who helped me? Oh gosh,
Maybe
so many.
like a mentor.
Yeah, so many different. There's so many different people. We can start professionally because that one's easy.
Okay.
So my mentor was the founder of VMG, co-founder.
Okay.
Her name was Kara. She passed away a couple of years ago. And, I think that I was, this is circular, but I was recently in a preschool interview for my baby. And they brought up this concept of mirroring, which is basically like, as you see other people like you in certain positions, it obviously, helps you realize that you belong and you can do it too. And so she was an investor, a mom, a wife, amazing person. And, I think that is something that showed me that, hey, I can do all these things too, of being a mom and being a wife and being an investor and living in this crazy world and being able to have someone to go to and say, hey, I actually have no idea what I'm doing, right? Like sometimes you need that where you can kind of let your guard down and say, hey, I'm overwhelmed, right? And feeling safe to do that is really important from a mentorship perspective, and having someone kind of in your corner who you feel like you can share kind of the vulnerable side of you. So
yeah, I'm so sorry you lost her. That's so sad.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's I think it put a lot of things in perspective about life, obviously, when you lose people and kind of what can be a little bit of an eye opener of like how we prioritize our time.
Totally.
And how we also do the things that we want to do when we have the chance to do them and not wait and say, okay, I'll do this 10 years from now when I've made it, or 5 years from now, or whatever. So.
Absolutely.
On the personal side, I'd say my husband.
I love that.
My husband,
That's
Brian.
a good answer.
Yeah, I've been married, how long have I been? Short time.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2 years now.
Okay. That's beautiful.
And we have 2 little boys.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the village around raising kids is super duper important. And that has evolved, I think, for a lot of people now. I think a lot of people are raising kids in a lot more of a single family way than in the past with community. And so, I think trying to figure out how you do the raising kids and working and all of that together. And so for me, I found a partner that is a very capable person.
I love that.
I am here in LA right now. He's at home with the 2 kids. I didn't put sticky notes all over things to help him. You know how to make them a meal. You know how to give them a bath. You know what needs to go in the lunchbox. It's very much a team effort. And I think I wouldn't be able to do the job I have and be the mom I want to be and show up in the way that if I didn't know that my house was taken care of.
Yeah.
And so that's really, really important when looking for a partner, to find someone you feel like is a team player, which is also how I was raised.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
I'm so happy to have had you here. This has been so good. You're so smart and really just, I learn so much every time I'm with you. So I am so happy that you came. I hope we have you again, actually, to be honest, because I have so many things I want to talk to you about.
Hey, you know what? We can have that debate over exclusivity. We can talk about Parenthood.
Right?
We can talk about being in business, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm super happy you had me as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening and for being a part of my village. Please leave us a review, and I will see you in the next episode.